Hey, what's up guys, Rob here. So welcome back to another edition of Community Notes Violating People. This is becoming a monthly segment on this channel where we look at the community note system on Twitter, which in case you don't know, it is a communal fact check system where qualified users can leave notes under tweets, providing additional information about the subject of the tweet, dispelling misinformation, and other things like that. It is a generally very useful tool, but it also leads to some very funny results and people getting exposed for trying to spread lies. Now, before we get into today's examples, I'm going to provide you guys with another very useful tool, thanks to the sponsor of today's video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the GigaChads at Factor have returned to sponsor this video. Get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Now, what is Factor? It is a trusted meal delivery service featuring a large selection of delicious pre-made meal options for you to enjoy. Look, you're busy. Why spend your free time shopping at the grocery store or cooking complicated recipes that require extensive cleanup afterwards? Get chef-prepared meals on the table in just 2 minutes with Factor's ready-to-eat meals so you can get back to doing things you actually enjoy, like anime girls and/or my videos. That's right, all it takes is the ability to press a few buttons on the microwave and 2 minutes of patience to have delicious meals ready to eat, and trust me when I say I stand by their quality. I also love Factor because they offer not only delicious meals, but also high protein and diet conscious meal options for people like me who want to maximize their gains at the gym. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video. Once again, click the link in the description or the pinned comment to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. Welcome back, guys. So typically when it comes to community notes, they're very straightforward, like this one, for example, where the note is explaining the very confusing concept of how an actor would look older as time passes on. However, this other situation and accompanying note we're going to look at is a bit more complicated and has some context that needs to be explained. So the other day, a YouTuber made a video called Everything Wrong with VTubers, listing out the reasons and the issues they have with the VTubing scene generally. And this would cause a lot of controversy because of the first minute of that video, which was also shared in this teaser video that they released promoting the video onto Twitter. Now, what went wrong? Well, in the beginning, they tried to frame a bunch of VTubers, including Hololive members, specifically Japanese Hololive members, as racist for what they are trying to frame as them saying the N-word. Now, this would be hit with a note dispelling a lot of this. So first of all, one of the examples included a VTuber singing karaoke while reading the lyrics, and that's when she said it and then immediately apologized for it. Worse yet, included were a bunch of clips of Japanese VTubers repeating the word as a character in GTA said. So they were simply repeating a line in English they did not understand. And then the most egregious example was one clip where basically he was trying to frame a Japanese term that sounds like the N-word in English as them actually saying the N-word. And making it even worse, it appears that those clips and the way that they said the word was shortened to make it sound even more like they were saying the N-word in English, when in reality they were saying a simple, inoffensive Japanese term. Now, there were other big issues with this video. At one point, he mentions how horrible it is that people were sharing the personal information, former friends were sharing personal information of the VTuber Kenji and how terrible that was. But then in this first section of the video, literally 10 seconds in, they share an uncensored shot of a VTuber's real life face, an agency VTuber's real life face from their past life account that has no association with their current activities. Now, when we get to a subject like this, as always, I have to make it very, very, very clear. I do not want anyone going out and trying to find this related clip and to also mention this VTuber by name in the comments section. All you need to know is that this was something that was completely wrong. This was a violation of their privacy and something that is a big no-no in the VTubing scene and had no other purpose in this video other than to spite the person in question. Again, please do not mention this person out of respect for them, but that is the context as to what happened. And initially when they were criticized for including that in the teaser video on not only Twitter but in the video itself, they mocked all the calls for them to apologize. In fact, they would double, triple, and quadruple down in a series of non-apology apology videos where they would say it was no big deal and that they stood by what they did. However, eventually the teaser image would be deleted and the portion of the video that contained this section would be edited out by the uploader. So that is one of the reasons I feel comfortable talking about this in the first place, because these related videos have been edited or completely removed from Twitter. But as you can see in this now deleted post as well, that this person who made this video is in no way sorry for what they did, which is absolutely ridiculous. You know that they are definitely not sorry for what they did. They are just trying to cover their own ass and delete some tweets and edit things out, because they should be much more worried about Cover Corp, because a lot of people reported that clip and the video to Cover Corp. And yeah, I'd be a lot less concerned about your fragile pride on Twitter and your refusal to apologize. And I'd be much more worried about what Cover Corp is doing, especially when you make it very clear that you had the full intent to do what you did on multiple levels, by the way, that would offend some of the reputations of these Hololive VTubers. But yeah, I'd be much more worried about that. But that is the situation for now. So what were we doing again? Oh yeah, community notes, violating people. So let's get back to the usual format of this video. So here is the first note. Speaking of framing people as racist when they're not. So we have this clip that got a lot of attention where this person said, white people always messing with other people's culture, referring to this girl right here doing this dance. So you can see the note. It says, in the video, this girl is a Swedish Indonesian dancer who lives in Bali and speaks the local language fluently. She is here performing Legong, a style of Balinese dance characterized by exaggerated hand movements and facial expressions, which was a big issue with the people replying to this. They were making fun of the faces that she was making, claiming that she was ugly and that she was disrespecting their culture. However, the facial expressions are a part of this dance. So unwittingly, these people were actually insulting the culture by going after this girl who was actually respecting and appreciating that culture. Now, moving on to the next tweet, we see an example like this in every segment we do about community notes violating people. It's an example of an animal being hurt or put in a dangerous situation, and it's framed as something cute. You can see this tweet saying, stingrays like to be tickled, apparently. And you can see that the stingray's smiling, guys. It's loving it. No, it's not. It says in the note here, the stingray is suffocating and is not enjoying being tickled. Yes, again, very weird that people keep framing things like this, but I'm glad the notes are catching on to this once again. Here's another common theme we see in these types of videos where this tweet claims, Riley Gaines is a man. And the note says, Riley Gaines is a woman, an adult human female. The way that Twitter is trying to gaslight people into thinking that liking any woman with a tint of tone to their muscle is somehow wrong or gay or weird, or it makes this person not a woman. It's very strange how common this is on Twitter, but I'm glad that the notes are continuing to shut down this weird attack on many different people in this scenario, mainly this woman who's being randomly attacked by someone for absolutely no reason. The simple crime of, I guess, being in shape. But moving on to the next note from creepy.org, Lockheed scientist Boyd Bushman shows a series of photographs of an alleged alien being before his death. And the note says the alien was an exact match to a plastic alien toy which was being sold at Walmart prior to the interview. Yes, another note for creepy.org. They are trying to basically stack it up. I think they're going for the world record of community notes on their account. But moving on to the next one, this one says, the NFL draft is a lot like a slave auction, except the slaves aren't working for free. Where the note says, slaves are involuntarily held against their will, forced to work by threat of violence. The NFL players are voluntarily engaging in their chosen profession, and they can quit at any time. And also, they make very good money in the process, and what they do with that money is up to them. But to compare the NFL draft to the slave trade is insane. An insane thing, and I'm glad, once again, the notes are shutting it down. But moving on to some game journalists. So Games Radar here reporting that Helldivers 2 is the best RPG of 2024. Do you agree? Well, the note does not agree. It says Helldivers 2 is a PvE squad-based shooter, not an RPG. And game journalists getting basic facts wrong about the topic that they're trying to cover is nothing surprising. But moving on to the next one, this says the first trailer for Barry Jenkins' live-action Lion King prequel Mufasa, The Lion King, showing the trailer here. But the note says this movie is not live action, and I think that is the least of their concerns. Look at the trailer for this on YouTube. Look at the like-dislike ratio. That is absolutely brutal and looks like another upcoming Disney flop. They are really struggling with their movies right now, and it's sad to see. I just wish they would actually release something good, like for their own interest and also the enjoyment of everyone else. But moving on to the next note, and this is the most egregious tweet I have seen all day. Okay, so Bay Area's State of Mind says this: a groundhog named Chunk has been stealing a farmer's crop from Delaware for 4 years and eats it right in front of a surveillance camera. This is a very serious set of allegations against Chunk, okay? Chunk is a respectable member of the community, and I don't appreciate you saying these things, and I'm glad the note set the record straight. It says Chunk, the groundhog, isn't stealing. The owner planted a garden especially for Chunk and his family. And by the way, Chunk's girlfriend is called Nibbles, and they have 4 kids. That's right, take it, Bayside State of Mind. How dare you come after Chunk and his family? I'm glad the note shut down this slander. Moving on to the next tweet from The Economist, saying gangs are gaining ground in Latin America. This is why iron fist policies won't beat them back, where the note says El Salvador's iron fist gang crackdown led to murders dropping by 70% in 2023. Who would have thought imprisoning and punishing violent criminals would reduce violent crime? That is crazy talk right there. I can't believe that this is happening. Moving on to the next one. This person says, did we cancel D-Day because of a little rough weather? No. Play the game. Where they're hit with a note saying D-Day was delayed by a day because of the weather. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, especially like older people on social media, try to make this claim over and over again, and just stop for your own, your own pride here. This is embarrassing to say, but also it gives me kind of the vibes of like, when like your grandparents or someone are talking about like how rough things used to be, like when they would take their old walk to school. I used to go 15 miles uphill both ways on my commute to school. Like, it's just like you could put it to rest. This is a little goofy. Moving on, here's another note. A tweet saying scientists at Stanford University have reconstructed this 3D model of how Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, might have looked. And the note says this is Dua Lipa 3D model. It kind of reminds me of like that article, like this is what gamers will look like in 20 years. But moving on to the next one. So it says no community note. He actually did that, referring to someone saying this is not Metal Gear Rising prop. Hideo Kojima can just do that with this police car chopped in half, where the note says Hideo Kojima can actually do that. Wow. Amazing. My mind has been blown. But moving on, here is the final note of this video from I just noticed the at of this person. Oh my God. But they say there is no same shape. And the note says cylinder, because there's 2 cylinders. It's the simpler notes that I really enjoy the most. But yeah, that's going to do it for another round of community notes violating people. A new staple in this channel, probably once a month from now on. But I hope you guys enjoyed as always, and feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. And I'll see you guys next time.